Good morning, children. Welcome back to your history classes. We started chapter 4, the Turkish invasion and the establishment of the Delhi Sultanate. Today I will be doing part 5, last part for this topic, Turkish invasion. I am Mrs. Roshni Nair. Let us start our chapter. After finishing the detailed study about Sultan Mahmoud of Ghazni, we started learning more about Muhammad Gauri in our previous video lesson. I gave a simple introduction about Muhammad Gauri. Now let us start studying in detail. Muhammad Gauri or Muizzuddin Muhammad, that was his name. He was brother of Ghiasuddin Gauri. Muhammad Gauri was an ambitious leader. He was the younger brother of the ruler of Gaur, Ghiasuddin, who handed the responsibility of Gaur to rule over Ghazni. But Muhammad Gauri, being a very ambitious ruler, was not satisfied with only Ghazni and wanted to expand his empire to get hold of more power and control and wanted to conquer India. He was well aware of India's political, religious, social and military weaknesses and also the enormous wealth and gold that India had. He wanted to attain more power and more wealth. He also had the desire to spread Islam in India by conquering the Hindus of the country. Thus, for all these reasons, he carried out a number of invasions to take over India. In India, after a gap of 150 years, in AD 1175, Muhammad of Ghazni, the Turkish ruler of small kingdom in Afghanistan, attacked the Indian subcontinent, and these invasions laid the foundation of the Turco-Afghan rule in India. Very important part. Turco-Afghan rule started after Muhammad Gauri invaded India after a gap of 150 years. The first invasion of Muhammad Gauri was when he attacked Multan and was successful in capturing Multan. From Multan, he captured Upper Sindh and established the fort there. He also conquered Lower Sindh later. He also defeated the Solankis of Gujarat, and that also during the same year. First he suffered defeat from Gujarat, and this was his first invasion. That's why against a Hindu ruler in India, he had to go back to his kingdom. And Muhammad Gauri realized that the main place to conquer in India was not Sindh and Multan, but Punjab. So he captured Peshawar, and later Gauri invaded Punjab once again, and this time he looted the countryside and besieged Lahore. He also conquered Sialkot and rest of Punjab. Now coming to the first battle of Tarain in 1191 CE. In 1191 CE, to conquer the whole of India, Gauri marched towards Delhi and he captured Sirhind. It was the Rajput king of Delhi and Ajmer Prithviraj Chauhan who put up a brave fight with his soldiers against Gauri in Tarain. And remember I told you Tarain is a place near Karnal in present Haryana state of India. In this first battle of Terrain, Gauri was badly injured and defeated, and he had to retrace back his steps. Coming to the second battle of Terrain, in 1192 AD, Muhammad Gauri invaded India again. This time he came with an army of more than 1 lakh soldiers, which also included the help of Turks, Afghans, Persians. And in this second battle of Terrain, Prithviraj Chauhan could not restrain the strong army of Gauri, and Muhammad Gauri defeated Prithviraj. He was captured and killed. Thus, Gauri was successful in capturing Delhi and Ajmer. Later, he also defeated Jayachand of the ruler of Kannauj in 1198, and that is known as the battle against Jayachand Rathod in Kannauj. Jayachand Rathod, the king of Kannauj, was not in good terms with Prithviraj Chauhan and was happy when he was captured and killed. But when Muhammad Gauri invaded India again, this time he attacked Kannauj and defeated Jayachand Rathod. After his invasion, Qutbuddin Aibak became the viceroy of Muhammad Gauri. And after this, while Gauri returned back to the west to carry out his conquest in the western frontiers, Qutbuddin Aibak continued his conquest in India. And one more important line to add is, the second battle of Terrain put an end to the Rajput dynasty. And the defeat of Prithviraj marked the end of Rajput rule in North India, as I mentioned. Muhammad Gauri appointed his faithful general Qutbuddin Aibak as a governor over his territory before returning to Gaur. Qutbuddin Aibak further defeated the empires of Mathura, Gwalior, Bundelkhand and Malwa. Qutbuddin Aibak attacked Gujarat and he was defeated first. But in the next battle, he conquered Gujarat. His next target was Bundelkhand after Gujarat, which was ruled by the Chandel Rajputs, and he defeated them also and conquered Bundelkhand. And during this time, Muhammad Khilji, a slave of Muhammad Gauri, attacked Bihar and Bengal. Both Bengal and Bihar came under the control of Gauri and Khilji became the viceroy of Bengal and Bihar. Now this is very important point. Muhammad Gauri is rightfully called as the founder of the Turkish kingdom in India. Very important point. Remember, who is the founder of Turkish kingdom in India? Muhammad Gauri. Now let us compare the invasions of Muhammad Ghazni and Muhammad Gauri. If you remember, Muhammad Ghazni invaded India to loot and plunder India, and he never appointed any governors. But Muhammad Gauri invaded India to set up an empire, or we can say he wanted to expand his territories. He appointed faithful generals who continued to expand his kingdom. That's very important. I want you to pause this video and open your textbook. Before we do our question answer part, we will learn full chapter Mahmud of Ghazni and Muhammad Gauri, and then we will attempt our exercise questions. Page number 32. Chapter 4. What is the theme here? The Delhi Sultanate. Chapter name: The Turkish Invasion and the Establishment of the Delhi Sultanate. Topic 1: The Turks. The cultural vitality and brilliance of the Abbasid Caliphate in the 8th and 9th centuries CE was followed by a decline in its political power by the end of the 9th century CE. The once mighty Abbasid Empire disintegrated into a number of independent states ruled by the Turks, who had earlier served in the armies of caliphs. Two important states established by the Turks were Ghazni and Gauri. Mahmoud of Ghazni. Sultan Mahmoud of Ghazni was a powerful and ambitious ruler. He invaded India 17 times in the course of 25 years, that is from 1001 to 1025 CE. He wanted to build a large and well-equipped army to expand his kingdom and also to protect it from his enemies in Central Asia. What are the important points here? He wanted to build a large and well-equipped army. Why he wanted to build this army? To expand his kingdom. And second point is, he wanted to protect his empire from the enemies in Central Asia. To fulfill his aims, he needed money. The fabulous riches of the temples of the North India attracted him. At that time, North India was divided and there was no unity. The ambitious Rajput, deeply absorbed in mutual rivalries, failed to understand the gravity of the situation. Mahmud of Ghazni attacked India and plundered its riches. Now, what were the important raids between 1001 to 1025 CE? First was war against Jaipal. Mahmud first defeated Jaipal, the Hindu ruler of Punjab, whose territory extended from the Punjab to present-day Afghanistan. Jaipal was forced to pay tribute. Unable to bear the humiliation of the defeat, Jaipal burnt himself to death. Next heading is war against Anandpal. Anandpal was Jaipal's son and successor. He formed an alliance with the rulers of some of the important states of Western and Central India. They made elaborate arrangements to repulse Ghazni and protect their states and culture. The grave threat of a foreign invasion inspired the people to rise to the defense of their land. It is said that even the women sold their jewels, smelted their gold ornaments, and sent their contributions for distant places to help in the war effort. However, Anandpal and his allies were defeated. This opened the way for future inroads into the heart of India. Later, most of Mahmud's attacks were directed at the temple towns of North India. A temple town was not merely a religious center, but a treasure house of fabulous riches as well. Hundreds of temples were plundered and destroyed. The attack on Somnath temple in Kathiawar was Mahmud's most ambitious and profitable expedition. The Indians put up a stubborn resistance to save the magnificent temple, which was the richest and the most sacred temples of the Hindus. After 3 days of fierce fighting, the entire defense force of 50,000 soldiers lay dead. The victorious Mahmud returned to his capital with immense treasures including valuable works of art. Mahmud was a great military leader, but he did not want to establish an Indian empire. His interest lay in territorial expansion in Central Asia. Now that is an important point. Why it is important? Because you had learned Muhammad Gauri also. So that is the difference between Mahmoud of Ghazni and Muhammad Gauri. So you can underline these points. His interests lay in territorial expansion in Central Asia, and Punjab was the only Indian province he annexed. And one more important point you can mention from here. Mahmud was a great military leader, but he did not want to establish an Indian empire. That's an important point. Now coming to next paragraph. Sultan Mahmud drained away India's vast treasures and used them to transform Ghazni into a magnificent capital city. Ghazni was adorned with splendid mosques, libraries and a museum. The court of Ghazni glittered with sparkling pearls, rubies and diamonds. Again, important line. Mahmud was known as the idol breaker and a bandit operating on a large scale in the context of Indian history. Very important point. However, he was patron of art and learning and enjoyed the company of learned scholars and poets. The Persian poet Firdausi, author of great epic Shahnameh, that also you can underline, important point, and the great Persian historian and mathematician Al-Biruni was among the eminent scholars patronized by Mahmud. That is also important. Mahmud's raids exposed the weaknesses of the northern states and paved the way for the conquest of India. The empire of Ghazni disintegrated rapidly after Mahmud's death. For about 150 years after that, North India was free from foreign attacks. That is how when we started Muhammad Gauri, I told after 150 years, Muhammad Gauri was the first one to invade India. When Muhammad Gauri invaded India at the end of 12th century CE, there were 5 major Rajput kingdoms in North India. The Rathors of Kannauj, the Chauhans of Delhi and Ajmer, the Solankis of Gujarat, the Paramaras of Malwa and the Chandelas of Bundelkhand. You can see the map. In this map they are showing the extent of empire, an area which was overrun by Mahmud of Ghazni. They had also shown important towns with black dots and also the present international boundary of India. Coming to the second important ruler, Muhammad Gauri. Towards the end of the 12th century CE, a new kingdom based in Ghor arose in northwestern Afghanistan near Ghazni. Muhammad Gauri, the ruler of Ghor, decided to conquer India and enrich his kingdom with India's wealth. He first brought the frontier areas of Multan, Sindh and Punjab under his control. Now, what were the important battles related to Muhammad Gauri? First one was First Battle of Tarain. You can open page number 34. In 1191 CE, Gauri attacked Prithviraj Chauhan, the Rajput ruler of Delhi and Ajmer. Prithviraj inflicted a crushing defeat on Gauri in the First Battle of Tarain, and Gauri returned the following year to avenge the humiliation of his defeat. That's important here. First Battle of Tarain, Muhammad Gauri was defeated. Second Battle of Tarain, Prithviraj organized a confederacy of Rajput chiefs to meet the challenge. Unfortunately, the most powerful Rajput ruler, important name, Raja Jayachandra of Kannauj, refused to help him. The armies of Rajputs and Gauri clashed in Second Battle of Tarain in 1192 CE. This time, Muhammad Gauri routed the Rajput army, that means he won. And what happened after that? The defeat of Prithviraj marked the end of Rajput rule in North India. Very important line. The kingdom of Delhi passed into the hands of Muhammad Gauri. The throne of Delhi was occupied by Muslim rulers from then till 1858. 2 years after the Second Battle of Tarain, Muhammad attacked Kannauj, killed Jayachandra, and he annexed the Indian territories to his empire and appointed Qutbuddin Aibak as his viceroy before returning to Gaur. Qutbuddin captured the fort of Kalanjar in Bundelkhand and Anhilwara in Gujarat and extended Gauri's empire to other parts of North India such as Mathura, Gwalior and Malwa. All these states are shown in our map. Another great general of Gauri, that is, important name again, Muhammad bin Bakhtiar Khilji. Great general of Gauri, Muhammad bin Bakhtiar Khilji. He swept across Bihar with his army and overthrew the Sena dynasty of Bengal. Many Buddhist monasteries and libraries were wantonly destroyed by the invaders. This invasion dealt a death blow to Buddhism in India. A few monks managed to escape to Tibet with their manuscripts, and what was the result? Buddhism continues to flourish in Tibet. Even now, it is flourishing in Tibet. Muhammad Gauri was not a great military leader as Mahmoud of Ghazni. From here, we are comparing both the rulers. Muhammad Gauri was not as great a military leader as Mahmoud of Ghazni, nor did he patronize art and learning like him. Yet, some historians regard him as the founder of the Turkish kingdom in India. Very important, you can underline. He was the founder of the Turkish kingdom in India with its capital in Delhi. From that time, Delhi was the capital. Now let us start our textbook exercise questions from page number 39 and 40. If you remember, we had completed question number 1 and 2 from E part. Now we'll continue with question number 3. Question number 3. What is the significance of the defeat of Prithviraj in the Second Battle of Tarain? Answer. The defeat of Prithviraj marked the end of Rajput rule in North India. The kingdom of Delhi passed into the hands of Muhammad Gauri. The throne of Delhi was occupied by Muslim rulers from then till 1858. That's important. Either you can pause the video and write, or as of now you can mark in your textbook and copy. But you have to complete these question answers in your notebook or exercise book. Question number 4. Who did Muhammad Gauri appoint as his viceroy? You remember the name? Qutbuddin Aibak. So how you will write? Muhammad Gauri appointed Qutbuddin Aibak as his viceroy before returning to Gaur. Now let us go. Question number 7, which is name the founder of the Turkish kingdom in India. Answer is Muhammad Gauri was the founder of Turkish kingdom in India. This I had added because it was there in our old textbook which we are referring. In your new textbook this question is not there, but it is one of the important questions, so you can copy this question. Name the founder of the Turkish kingdom in India. Muhammad Gauri was the founder. In fact, in picture study also you can expect this question. Is our long answer question, where question 1 we had already done. Now this is question number 2. Discuss the causes and the results of first and second battle of Terrain. Both the battles are important. So what's the answer? Muhammad Gauri wanted to unveil his kingdom with India's wealth. He decided to conquer India. And as they had asked, what was the cause? We already mentioned. What was the cause? He wanted to unveil his kingdom with India's wealth. So he decided to conquer India. Now the result we will write first part, that is first battle of Terrain. In 1191 CE, Gauri attacked Prithviraj Chauhan, the Rajput ruler of Delhi and Ajmer. Prithviraj inflicted a crushing defeat on Gauri in the first. So what was the importance of first battle? Prithviraj defeated Mahmud Gauri. So Muhammad Gauri. Second one is second battle of Terrain. The importance is it was fought in 1192 CE. Since these are consecutive years, you will remember 1191 and 1192 CE. And Gauri again attacked Prithviraj Chauhan. Gauri defeated the Chanama King Prithviraj Chauhan. Very important. That is picture study. I am referring to an old picture from my textbook. Yeah. And what is the question? This is a picture of a Turkish invader who was involved in the battles of Terrain. Now what is question number 1? Identify the person in the picture. Answer is Muhammad Gauri. If there is any extra question mentioned in the picture study in the new textbook, you can answer that. I already covered most of the part from textbook, so I know it will be easy for you to cover. In my textbook, question number 2 is why did he invade India? But in the new textbook, it is a part of first question where it is mentioned, identify the person in the picture, why did he invade India? So same answer you can write. Why did he invade India? At the end of 12th century CE, a new kingdom based in Gaur arose in northwestern Afghanistan, which is near to Ghazni. The founder was Ghiyasuddin Gauri. His famous brother Muizzuddin Muhammad is commonly referred to as Muhammad Gauri. Decided to conquer India and enrich his kingdom with India's wealth. He first brought the frontier areas of Multan, Sindh and Punjab under his control. All the names are important. Muizzuddin Muhammad, who is commonly referred to as Muhammad Gauri, is important. And also you have to mention the frontier areas of Multan, Sindh and Punjab. That's also important point. Now next question is, the battles of Terrain laid the foundation of Turkish rule in North India. Very important line. And continuation is, do you agree and why? What is the answer? Yes. 2 years after the second battle of Terrain, Muhammad attacked Kannauj and killed Jayachandra. Gauri annexed the Indian territories to his empire and appointed Qutbuddin Aibak as his viceroy before returning to Gaur. Now the same question in your textbook, it is mentioned as question number 2. Coming to next question. Explain the causes of the success of the Turkish invaders against the Rajputs. Answer. Prithviraj organized a confederacy of Rajput chiefs to meet the challenge. Unfortunately, the most powerful Rajput ruler, Raja Jayachandra of Kannauj, refused to help him. The two armies clashed in Second Battle of Terrain in 1192 CE. This time, Muhammad Gauri routed Rajput army. Very important. And with that, we come to the end of this chapter. Thank you, dear children. As a revision, let us watch 2 videos from our very own Tata Classic. First video is based on Sultan Mahmoud of Ghazni and his conquest. Second is based on Muhammad Gauri's conquest. So take care, children, and as a revision, let us watch these videos. Thank you.
The Ghaznavids were a Turkish dynasty that ruled parts of Central Asia, Iran, Afghanistan, and northern India. Mahmoud of Ghazni was chiefly responsible for expanding the Ghaznavid Empire. Mahmud's plan was to build a strong army to expand his kingdom and protect his empire from enemies in Central Asia. He was attracted to the great wealth of the temples of North India, since this wealth could help him build his army. He raided India 17 times in 24 years. At that time, there was no unity among the rulers of North India, and Mahmud took advantage of the situation. He first defeated Jayapal, the ruler of Punjab, in 1001. He next conquered Multan by defeating Abdul Fateh Dord in 1006. In 1008, he defeated Anandpal, the ruler of Punjab, and annexed Punjab. After 1010, he began to attack the wealthy temple towns of North India. He then attacked Nagarkot, Thaneshwar, Mathura, and Kannauj. He destroyed hundreds of temples. His most profitable expedition was the raid on Somnath Temple in Kathiawar in 1025. 50,000 soldiers died defending the Somnath Temple, which was the richest and most sacred temple of the Hindus. During the attack on Somnath temple, a jewel-crusted idol was ruined. This was one of the reasons why Mahmoud of Ghazni was known as an idol breaker and bandit. Mahmud returned to his capital Ghazni with many treasures from the Somnath temple, including valuable pieces of art. With these treasures, he transformed Ghazni and filled it with libraries, mosques, palaces, and a museum. He also built markets, dams, and bridges. He was also a great patron of Persian art and literature. He patronized the Persian poet Firdausi and the historian mathematician Al-Biruni. He even commissioned Al-Biruni to write an account of the Indian subcontinent in order to understand its culture. Al-Biruni's book, Kitab al-Hind, provided a great deal of information on the history and social life of the subcontinent at that time. Firdausi dedicated his epic work, Shahnama, or the Book of Kings, to Ghazni. Mahmud of Ghazni died in 1030. His rule lasted more than 30 years, from 997 to 1030.
By the end of the 12th century, the Rajput dynasties were in a dominant position in India. North India was controlled by 5 major Rajput kingdoms: the Rathors of Kannauj, the Chauhans of Delhi and Ajmer, the Solankis of Gujarat, the Paramaras of Malwa, and the Chandelas of Bundelkhand. Meanwhile, a new kingdom in Ghor, founded by Ghiyasuddin Ghori, arose in northwestern Afghanistan. His brother, Muhammad Ghori, decided to conquer India largely for its wealth. He began his conquests by establishing control over the strategic areas of Multan in 1176, followed by Sindh in 1182. Later, he invaded Punjab and captured the fortress of Sialkot in 1185, followed by Lahore in 1186. However, the most significant battle that he fought was against the Chauhan ruler of Delhi and Ajmer. This was the first Battle of Tarain. The Rajput king Prithviraj Chauhan inflicted a crushing defeat on Ghori in this battle. Muhammad Ghori did not take the defeat lightly. In 1192, he again attacked Prithviraj in the second Battle of Tarain with a larger and stronger army. The Rajput army lost the battle and Prithviraj was imprisoned. Two years later, Muhammad Ghori defeated Rajput king Jayachandra in the Battle of Chandavar, thus bringing an end to the Rajput rule in North India. Ghori appointed Qutbuddin Aibak as the governor of his annexed territories in India and returned to Ghor. Aibak captured the fort of Kalinjar in Bundelkhand and Anilwara in Gujarat. thus extending Ghori's empire to other parts of North India. Within 10 years of the Second Battle of Tarain, the Rajput kingdoms declined and the Delhi Sultanate came to power and ruled for a long period of 300 years.